Albert Einstein had an IQ of 160. Stephen Hawking scored 160. But here's what will shock you. The average IQ of Fortune 500 CEOs is only 104, barely above average. So why do some people with average intelligence achieve extraordinary success while certified geniuses sometimes struggle? The answer isn't what you think. After studying the daily routines of Nobel Prize winners, billionaire entrepreneurs, and breakthrough innovators for over 3 years, I discovered something incredible. The smartest people in the world don't just think differently. They have specific daily habits that amplify their intelligence and give them an unfair advantage over everyone else. These aren't the habits you read about in typical productivity books. These are the secret practices that the most brilliant minds use to consistently outthink, outperform, and outsmart the competition. Most people have never heard of these habits because the smartest people rarely share them publicly. Take Elon Musk, for example. While everyone focuses on his work ethic and vision, they miss the subtle habits that actually drive his success. He uses what I call the first principles reset every single day. Jeff Bezos has a habit he calls day one thinking that keeps his mind sharp after decades of success. Warren Buffett uses a daily practice that most people would consider a waste of time, but it's secretly the source of his investment genius. The fascinating thing about these habits is they don't require natural intelligence. They're learnable systems that anyone can implement. When you copy these habits, you literally upgrade your cognitive ability. You start seeing patterns others miss, solving problems faster and making decisions that seem brilliant to everyone around you. Here's what most people get wrong about intelligence. They think it's fixed. They believe you're either smart or you're not, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's completely false. Intelligence is like a muscle that can be trained, strengthened, and optimized through specific practices. The smartest people understand this. They don't rely on raw talent alone. They use daily habits to continuously expand their mental capacity, improve their thinking speed, and enhance their problem-solving abilities. They've essentially hacked their own intelligence. I used to think I wasn't naturally smart enough to compete with the brilliant people in my field. I had good ideas but couldn't execute them as quickly or effectively as others. Then I discovered these 12 habits and everything changed. Within 6 months, my thinking became sharper, my insights deeper, and my results dramatically better. The difference wasn't that I became smarter overnight. The difference was that I learned to think like smart people think. I adopted their mental habits, their cognitive strategies, and their daily practices. I stopped trying to rely on natural ability and started using systematic intelligence amplification. Today I'm going to reveal the 12 specific habits that separate the smartest people from everyone else. These aren't motivational concepts or vague suggestions. These are precise, actionable practices that you can start using immediately to upgrade your cognitive performance. If you want to unlock your full intellectual potential and start thinking like the smartest people in the world, subscribe right now because these habits will transform how your brain processes information forever. Habit 1. The question cascade. The first habit that separates brilliant minds from everyone else is what I call the question cascade. While most people accept information at face value, the smartest people ask deeper questions. But here's the key. They ask questions in layers, each one going deeper than the last. When presented with any problem or piece of information, they start with, why is this true? Then, why does that matter? Then, what am I not seeing? Then, what would have to be true for the opposite to be correct? This cascade of questions reveals insights that others completely miss. Richard Feynman, the Nobel Prize-winning physicist, was famous for this approach. He would ask why, like a curious child, but with the persistence of a scientist. This habit helped him make breakthrough discoveries that eluded other brilliant minds because he questioned everything others took for granted. Habit 2. Deliberate ignorance. Here. It's a counterintuitive habit that shocked me. The smartest people deliberately choose what not to learn. While everyone else tries to consume as much information as possible, brilliant minds are incredibly selective about what they allow into their heads. They understand that attention is their most valuable resource. Instead of trying to know everything about everything, they become deeply knowledgeable in areas that matter and intentionally ignore everything else. This selective ignorance allows them to think more clearly and make better decisions in their areas of expertise. Tim Ferriss calls this selective ignorance. He doesn't read news, doesn't follow social media trends, and deliberately avoids information that doesn't directly serve his goals. This isn't about being uninformed. It's about being strategically informed. Habit 3. The inversion protocol. The third habit used by the world's smartest people is thinking backwards from failure. Instead of only planning for success, they spend significant time imagining how things could go wrong and work backwards to prevent those failures. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's partner, credits this habit for much of his success. He says, "Tell me where I'm going to die so I don't go there." By systematically thinking through potential failures, he makes better investment decisions than people who only focus on potential gains. This habit works because it reveals blind spots that forward thinking misses. When you think backwards from failure, you spot problems before they happen and build systems to prevent them. Habit 4. Analogical bridging. Smart people constantly connect ideas from different fields through analogies. They'll use principles from biology to solve business problems, apply physics concepts to understand human behavior, or use musical patterns to improve their writing. This cross-pollination of ideas creates insights that specialists in single fields never discover. When you can bridge knowledge from multiple domains, you see solutions that are invisible to experts who think within narrow boundaries. Steve Jobs was masterful at this. He combined technology with liberal arts, taking inspiration from calligraphy to design computer fonts and applying Zen principles to product design. This analogical thinking gave Apple products their unique elegance and functionality. Habit 5. Energy state management. ET. Smartest people treat their mental energy like a finite resource that must be carefully managed. They understand that intelligence isn't just about having good ideas. It's about having good ideas when they matter most. They schedule their most important thinking work during their peak energy hours and protect those hours fiercely. They know exactly when their minds are sharpest and structure their days to maximize cognitive performance during those windows. Bill Gates famously schedules think weeks where he isolates himself to focus on big-picture thinking. He recognizes that his best insights come when his mental energy is completely focused, not when he's scattered across multiple tasks. Habit 6. The perspective. Portfolio. Brilliant minds deliberately collect different perspectives on every important topic. They don't just seek information that confirms their existing beliefs. They actively hunt for viewpoints that challenge their thinking and force them to consider alternatives. They maintain what I call a perspective portfolio, a collection of smart people with different backgrounds, experiences, and viewpoints who can offer insights they would never reach on their own. They regularly consult this network before making important decisions. Ray Dalio built this into the culture of his hedge fund through radical transparency, where everyone is encouraged to disagree and challenge ideas regardless of hierarchy. This habit of perspective collection has generated billions in investment returns. Habit 7. Conceptual compression. Smart people have an incredible ability to take complex ideas and compress them into simple, memorable concepts. They don't just understand complicated things, they can explain them so simply that anyone can grasp the core principles. This isn't about dumbing things down. It's about finding the essential truth within complexity and expressing it clearly. This habit forces deeper understanding because you can't simplify what you don't truly comprehend. Einstein demonstrated this when he explained relativity using simple analogies like trains and elevators. The ability to compress complex physics into understandable concepts proved he understood it at the deepest level. Habit 8. Systematic experimentation. The smartest people treat their lives like laboratories. Instead of just having opinions, they design small experiments to test their hypotheses about what works and what doesn't. They'll experiment with different morning routines, test various productivity systems, try alternative approaches to problems, and carefully track the results. This experimental mindset helps them continuously optimize their performance. Based on evidence rather than assumptions, Amazon's Jeff Bezos built this into his company culture through constant A/B testing and experimentation. This habit of systematic testing has driven Amazon's continuous innovation and market dominance. Habit 9. The feeder system. Brilliant minds create systematic ways to feed their brains with high-quality input. They don't consume information randomly. They have carefully designed systems for discovering, filtering, and processing the best ideas from multiple sources. This might include curated reading lists, expert interviews, specialized newsletters, or unique information sources that others don't access. They think of their minds like gardens that need consistent, high-quality nutrients to produce extraordinary results. Habit 10. Temporal shifting. The smartest people regularly shift their time perspective to gain different insights. They'll zoom out to think about 10-year implications, then zoom in to focus on immediate next steps. This temporal shifting reveals patterns and opportunities that single time frame thinking misses. They ask questions like, how will this decision look in 10 years? And what would I do if I only had 1 week to solve this? This habit prevents both short-term thinking and analysis paralysis by providing multiple time-based perspectives on every situation. Habit 11. Cognitive load balancing. Brilliant. Minds are experts at managing their cognitive load. They understand that the brain has limited processing capacity and systematically reduce unnecessary mental burden to preserve brain power for what matters most. They use external systems to remember routine information, automate repetitive decisions, and eliminate mental clutter. This cognitive load balancing frees up mental resources for creative thinking and complex problem solving. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day to eliminate decision fatigue. Obama had his suits pre-selected for the same reason. These weren't quirks. They were strategic choices to preserve cognitive resources for more important decisions. Habit 12. The integration loop. The final habit of the smartest people is systematic integration of everything they learn. They don't just collect information, they actively connect new knowledge to existing understanding, creating a web of interconnected insights. They regularly review and synthesize their learning, looking for patterns and connections across different areas. This integration habit transforms scattered information into powerful, actionable wisdom. Leonardo da Vinci exemplified this through his notebooks, where he connected observations about water flow to human anatomy, engineering designs to artistic techniques, and scientific principles to practical inventions. The transformation these 12 habits create is extraordinary. Before implementing them, most people think reactively. Accept information without question, consume content randomly, work during low-energy periods, and make decisions based on limited perspectives. After mastering these habits, you think systematically and strategically. You question everything and discover insights others miss. You curate high-quality input and manage your cognitive resources expertly. You experiment constantly and integrate learning continuously. Most importantly, you start thinking like the smartest people in the world. These habits don't require genius-level IQ. They require discipline, consistency, and the willingness to think differently than everyone around you. Intelligence isn't about being born smart. It's about developing smart habits that compound over time. Start with one habit that resonates most with you. Maybe begin with the question cascade and start asking deeper questions about everything you encounter. Master that habit for a month, then add the next one. Right now, write in the comments which habit you're going to implement first. Don't just consume this information, act on it. The smartest people in the world aren't just born different. They think different because they've developed different habits. If these 12 habits opened your eyes to how brilliant minds really work, hit that like button and subscribe for more intelligence-amplifying strategies. Share this with someone who's ready to upgrade their thinking. Remember, intelligence is a choice, not a gift. Choose to think like the smartest people in the world.